Hello, and welcome to the Regen Racing Podcast, Episode 4. I'm Deano.
And I'm Nath.
Welcome, Nath.
Thanks for having me, Dean.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. And lots happening outside of Formula E this week.
Yeah. As has been almost the norm for the last month or two, lots of announcements coming up about future things, so very exciting time.
Yes, I guess we're waiting till November, December for things to really kick off in this space. So
yeah, it's going to be really exciting once all of these different competitions kick off, and yeah.
All right. So, what have you been up to this week, Nath?
Oh, you make it sound like there's something really exciting that I've been up to, and you know about it already. It's a very probing question, but I haven't been up to much this week. I have just had a couple of exams this week for university stuff. So up until then, I hadn't really been doing much at all, but in just studying. But now I'm free for a month or so. So yeah.
You haven't been listening to any new podcasts? Because I've got one that I want to talk about, but
I've actually been listening to a new podcast called Waterdeep Mountain High.
Right. What kind of podcast is that?
Yeah. It's a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Yep.
Put together by a couple of New Zealanders. So that's been exciting. What I've really been enjoying about it is some of the players are not very proficient in Dungeons and Dragons, like myself.
So
yeah. So it's not like super nerdy. I don't really know what's going on, but I'm pretending to enjoy this. It's actually genuinely funny.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's one for you Dungeons and Dragons fans out there.
I imagine on a Venn diagram, the Dungeons and Dragons and the Formula E, there's not much of an overlap in there. What have you been listening to lately, Dean?
It's a podcast, a relatively new one called Crazy Genius. So it's along the lines of technology, culture, but big questions and provocative conclusions. It's from The Atlantic with Derek Thompson. A couple of my favourite episodes have been Should We Break Up Amazon and Are Smartphones Ruining Our Life? And I know I spend too much time on Clash Royale and a few other apps that I probably shouldn't.
Can I guess the answer to that one?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be yes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why all these companies are bringing out apps to, log how much time you're spending on your phone and trying to, get you off it. But yeah, it's interesting questions and a great listen. So yeah, check that one out.
Excellent. Let's get into the news.
It's probably a good place to get into, right? FIM NL Motor E World Cup. So this is an interesting one that is going to get underway in 2019. It is a support series to MotoGP, and it is electric motorcycles. So this is going to have a pre-season test at Jerez. Yeah, so it's a track in the south of Spain, and it's already a regular fixture on the MotoGP calendar. So it's going to hold the first electric event in early November. Are you looking forward to this one, Nath?
I am. I'm really excited to see how these new bikes are going to stack up against the existing MotoGP bikes. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, they look cool too. I've just got a picture in the show notes. It looks very futuristic, but yeah, similar to the MotoGP bikes. So I'm
not quite a Tron bike yet, but it's a step in the right direction.
We'll follow that one closely. And Jaguar's been in the news again.
Yeah. So a bit of a different tack here.
Okay, so it's not on the road.
Oh yeah, that was a really lame nautical joke.
Yeah.
The Jaguar have recently set the maritime electric nautical world speed record. Previously, 76.8 miles per hour in 2008. Jaguar Vector Racing have smashed that, 88.61 miles per hour.
Right. So They have a technical partnership with Williams Advanced Engineering, which is currently what Formula E is using, but maybe Williams should focus on their Formula One campaign instead of going all over the place. But that's not this podcast. Yeah. So the electric boat was designed and constructed by Jaguar, but in partnership with their racing technical partnership with Williams Advanced Engineering. So is this a one-off, or do you know if they're going to be doing anything else over the next wee while to, push it further and, absolutely make sure that world record's theirs?
They do plan to try and push it a bit further, get some more records in the bank over the next 18 months. So yeah, it'd be really exciting to see where that goes. They've still got a wee way to go to break the all-out world. Not sure how you refer to this. The world water speed record.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, that's I don't know it off the top of my head in miles per hour, but it's just a tad over 500 kilometers an hour. So they've still got a wee way to go for that. But yeah, I
don't think they're probably allowed with health and safety to do something like that these days. I mean, I think that had a jet engine on it.
That was it. It was a bit of a redneck Australian on a dam back in the 1980s. So yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not getting anywhere near that. But yeah, we'll see how they go, and that's really cool.
Nice to see some Formula E technology being used in a slightly different sphere.
Yes, yep. This is also going to be using Williams technology for the World Rallycross Championship in 2020. So I love watching the Rallycross. I don't really know much about it, but it's a ridiculously fast and clanging into each other and trying to get position on the track. It's fun. It's just, you could say
it's a great spectator sport.
It is a great spectator sport. I'd love to watch it if it came here for sure. Yeah. So plans to switch to the electric cars for 2020. First revealed by Autosport last August and has just recently been approved by the FIA Motorsport Council. So the series will maintain the existing sporting format, a similar number of events each year with both manufacturers and privateers. So you'll see both the current, I assume, Audi and Peugeot and the rest of the manufacturers, but it'd be interesting to see what privateers will take on the challenge.
Yeah. Coming back to Formula E news now, bit of Nico Prost news this week.
Yes, some unfortunate news, but it's what can only be described as a pretty poor season from him. And I've got the points totals written down here for his teammate and himself. So 3 wins, a third in the drivers' standings, and 3 teams' championships for Nico Prost. But he won't be retained for Season 5, and he hasn't got a point since Race 4 in the championship. So that's the last 6 races. That's the last 6 races he doesn't have a point. So Nico Prost has 7 points, and this is before the doubleheader in New York, and Sebastian Buemi has 92.
Ooh.
So, Nath, do you think he'll sign with another team, or is this his Formula E career over?
Well, prior to this season, he's been a very strong contender.
Yes.
It's 6th in Season 1, 3rd Season 2, 6th in Season 3. So he's, for the last few seasons, he's been a real solid contender, solid hitter. And so it's a shame to see him not doing so well this season. So I don't know. Maybe someone else thinks he's still got the potential. Maybe he's ready for a change.
I did hear Neo being bandied about somewhere, but yeah, I think Oliver Turvey's probably going to stay. But yeah, Luca Filippi, possible change. Yeah, what else have we got?
Another change to the structure of Formula E in Season 5.
Yes.
So change to the structure of Formula E in Season 5. So no more lap limits. It's all moving to timed races. So each round will have a strict 45 minutes plus the lap that they're currently on to reach the checkered flag. So it's going to be a pretty big change. Be interesting to see how that plays out with the energy management and the strategies of the teams there. What's your feeling on this, Dean?
I think it's a good move. I feel like I do like to see the lap counter. I like to see how many laps we have remaining. But yes, this is it's going to be a bit of a different test on the energy management. You're looking at time as opposed to, distance. So it's really, it's a different, and I think it'll take some teams a while to actually adapt to this. So yeah, good move, but I need to see it first just to confirm what I'm thinking.
It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out, having the same car through the whole race as well, not having that car change. That's a big part of that race and energy management strategy. Is kind of being taken out next season. I wonder, just thinking about it, there's going to be probably a little bit more kind of technical stuff happening in the background rather than just going, well, we're running about 4% per lap. We've got this many laps remaining. We need to ease off a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see. I can see why they're doing it. It's going to fit nicely into that kind of TV schedule time slot. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Do you think there'll be more suspense with people potentially running out of energy with 5 minutes remaining instead of a couple of laps? People are thinking, I'm not going to make it. I think it'll take people a while to get used to, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that comes back again to those new cars. I'm sure they'll be doing a lot of testing and a lot of simulations prior to next season. But once you get out on the track and the blood starts pumping, it's it all can go out the window pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, the Formula E Season 5 calendar release also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so as we've talked about before, round one in, I'm going to say this wrong, Adria in Saudi Arabia in the middle of December. And then we've got a few familiar courses here. Marrakesh, round 3 still to be announced. Then Mexico City, Hong Kong, race in China still to be announced somewhere. Back to Rome, back to Paris, and then Monaco, racing around the full Monaco circuit this time.
I'm looking forward to it,
That's first, and that's going to be pretty exciting. And then back to Berlin, Zurich, and then finishing off with another double header in New York City.
Good to see Zurich back there. I actually really enjoyed it, but we'll talk about that soon. But yes, that was fun. That was a good race.
Yes, it's a very, very kind of similar but significantly different season 5. There's a lot of the back end of the season, particularly the last 4 races, are identical, and we've got a lot of familiar faces, familiar courses. But it'll be really nice to see those new courses coming in and seeing how they race.
Yes, and also the new trophy for the European races.
That's nicely. So we've got the first 6 rounds, kind of Saudi Arabia, Africa, Asia, and then moving into the last round 7 in Rome, all the way up to round 11, a nice block in Europe in the middle there. So yeah, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to that European trophy.
Absolutely. I think there was a stat somewhere that Audi would have won the European trophy this season if it was a thing.
Wow. Yeah.
Which isn't surprising. They've been mighty recently. All right. Well, in that case, we might just move into the Zurich review.
I didn't watch qualifying.
You didn't watch qualifying? Oh, I was fully on qualifying. I absolutely loved it.
Really?
Nice. I made sure I watched this one because, and I'm glad I did. Our man Evans on pole.
Yeah.
I texted you and you were like, mate.
I know.
It was incredible. Andre Lotterer, he threw his water bottle in disgust when Evans got pole. I'm not sure if you saw that on some highlights, but he was gutted. He was absolutely gutted. And
it was a pretty tight margin by looking back at it.
It really was. It was close.
Yeah.
And of course, those points are needed by Lotterer for the drivers. Well, not for the drivers, but the Constructors' Championship. So, it was also good to see both Dragon cars up in Super Pole, which has been a long time coming for Jay Penske's team. Jev, the championship leader, starting in 17th. He had a really slow lap in qualifying, and afterwards, when he was interviewed, he said that the car wasn't the same as the practice sessions. I don't know what went
So
wrong.
when you say the car's not the same, are we talking the physical car was different that is qualifying in, or just the setup of the car was different?
I think they might have got the setup wrong on his car, but
Right.
his lap looked good. It was just really slow. It was also interesting to note that both Neo cars were 19th and 20th. I don't know what happened to them, but they were poor from Felipe and Turvey. They were nowhere. So we'll run through qualifying. Who was in the Super Pole?
So Super Pole, Evans on first.
Yep.
Wonderful to see Evans qualifying first. That was very special to see. Lotterer second, Bird third, D'Ambrosio in fourth, and Lopez rounding out the five.
Okay. What happened in the race?
Evans started off first, led through the first corner, and led the first couple of laps before ultimately slipping down a few places. Bit of drama in the first couple of corners as Piquet Jr. hit Daniel Abt from behind and completely smashed his rear wing by the looks of it.
Yeah, it came off.
So that was a bit of a nasty blow for Abt.
Yeah, I think Vern hit it at some stage as it came off. Or that might have been something. That might have been something else. But yeah, Abt didn't have a wing, so he had to go into the pits. Yeah.
It was really cool to see the Audi Schaeffler mechanics swapping out that wing. They did a pretty quick job of that out there with the rattle gun and a couple of screws in.
I think they said it was only 4 bolts, 4 screws. So
yeah,
that was quick.
yeah.
Jev, how did Jev go?
Yeah, so from starting the 17th, he was in the top 10 in the first 10 laps and was just carving through the field.
Yeah, I saw him doing that, and I was like, "This is going to be some points for Jev," because he was moving it. I mean, he was easily overtaking some of the back markers.
And what was amazing is he wasn't using a lot of energy at the same time.
No,
he was climbing up the points, but staying with the guys in terms of energy remaining. So really spectacular driving from him
until the drive-through penalties. Now this one must have been crushing because it came on the screen that there'd be drive-through penalties for Evans, unfortunately, Lopez, Lotterer, and Buemi for exceeding the speed limit during the full course yellow, and then there's one for Jev also. So Jean-Eric Verne, he gets one, and that could be absolutely crucial.
It really changed it was a real turning point in the second half of the race. Changed the results on their head. It
did. And it meant that, Jev was fighting to get anything from this. The podium, Lucas Di Grassi, second Sam Bird, and third Jerome D'Ambrosio. Sam Bird said post-race in the interview that chasing Jev down, he loves it. I really think he likes the underdog status and being the chaser, with all the pressure on Jev to hold the championship lead. And now it's down to 23 points.
He's really caught up and he's been charging up.
He's just been fantastic. I mean, just doing everything right and just beat Jev. That's it. So
yeah,
good on him. And
I've really admired Sam Bird this season. He doesn't seem to have the fastest car, but the way he's been driving it and getting the results and getting consistent points the whole way through the season, I think he's been performing really well, and he should be proud of that.
Absolutely, and good to see Lucas Di Grassi finally with the win.
Yeah,
it's been a long time coming
after a pretty slow start to the season for him. Couple of DNFs in race 3 and 4, but sitting in third on the points. So
yeah, it was due to a problem with his car. I mean, Daniel App's car was fine, but some issue caused him to be right down the bottom in the first few races. And we have a dragon on the podium as well.
Yes, Jerome D'Ambrosio.
What a drive. I mean, starting in Super Pole, getting third, you couldn't really, that it doesn't look quick in races. What a drive. I'm happy to see him there. And
but I think we do need to acknowledge that it was a lot of these results were due to the actions of others under the full course yellow. And yeah, it's amazing how those penalties really just changed the whole result of the race.
It has, yeah. And there was plenty of action, plenty of controversy. I was kind of hoping that Jev wouldn't get the penalty because it said that they all were under investigation, and then Jev's doesn't get his until after the other ones. So, edge of your seat stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't having to make those calls.
Yeah, I don't think you could pay me enough to make that call, especially if I saw Jev after the race.
Yeah.
So, what has that done to the drivers in the team championship, Nath?
So the drivers in the team championship, Jean-Eric Vergne is still holding on to his lead at the top of the table on 163 points, but Sam Bird 140 and closing fast. Lucas di Grassi sitting on 101 points, so
he's now out of the championship.
He's now out of the championship.
So but points on offer now.
Third place could still really go between Lucas di Grassi, Buemi, Felix Rosenqvist, and Daniel Apps. They're all sitting in that 101 to 85 points. So there's, I anticipate there's going to be a lot of very hard and very passionate racing in the next two races in New York City.
And the constructors. So
the constructors championship. TECHEETAH are still top of the table, 219 points, followed by Audi Sport at Scheffler on 186 and DS Virgin on 157.
Okay, so yeah, Mahindra and Panasonic Jaguar, and also Renault out of it now.
Yeah. Playing for pride.
Playing for pride. Playing for prize money as well. I'm sure it goes down the order as well. So hopefully our man, Evans, Panasonic Jaguar, can get up to fourth place in the constructors. And hopefully PK can put on a good show as well.
So looking ahead to the New York doubleheader, final two races of the season happening over one weekend.
This is going to be exciting. I'm tempted to take the day off work. The New York doubleheader. This was absolutely dominated by DS Virgin last year. This was Alex Lynn getting pole for the first race, and Sam Bird getting pole for the second race, and Sam Bird winning both last year. So it's going to be tough. Do you think TECHEETAH can hold them off?
Well, I honestly don't know. Bird's hungry. Jev's got a lot of pride to play for, and he's there's just so much at stake with Sam Bird's experience last season. Surely that's got to count for something coming into this race. So yeah, it's going to be electrifying.
It is. I like that pun. So I think
that was so forced.
Yeah, it's written down here in the show notes. So pole, I'm going to give it to Evans. I think Mitch Evans will hook it up again, and I think at least one of the two races on pole. I'm going to go for an absolute domination by Sam Bird. He's going to have the weekend of his life, and he's going to totally dominate like he did last year in New York. I do think, though, TECHEETAH will hold off Audi Sport just for the constructors' title.
Ooh.
So that's what I'm going with. So I'd like to think I'm right, but because I think TECHEETAH really, really deserve the constructors' title. They've been pretty consistent all year, and especially Jev. What about your thoughts?
I likewise think Sam Bird's going to win it. At least be right up there across the two races. I think we might see some action from Daniel Apt in pole position. I'll call it now. After the last race, I think he's going to come out with a lot of fire as well. So he's a quick driver, and I don't think we've seen the last of him this season.
Right. So that looks like a wrap. We look forward to the final destination of Season 4, the New York doubleheader. So this is a weekend not to be missed, I'm sure, Nath. It's all to play for in both championships. Yeah, really looking forward to it, Dean, and can't wait to catch up and talk about it next time. So thank you for listening. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed doing this podcast.
if you could rate and review us on your platform of choice, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, etc., it would really help. Please send your feedback to hello@regenracingpodcast.com or Regen Racing on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Dean. Catch you next time.